Are you feeling green yet? Well, have you? Green is the order of play tonight, and there are no alternatives available to these headlines. The world's biggest oil companies want you to go green. They don't want to do it, they want you to do it. So, you tried really hard while they dangled $1 million prize to shut you the fuck up while they carry on not giving a shit. We have the results of your projects. One man who doesn't give a shit is our resident theoretical analyst Rufus Globetrott. He gives his verdict on the weather shortly. Can two of the world's most famous fictional characters solve the world's energy crisis and decarbonise our infrastructure? One inventor believes they can. They tell all, plus everyone hates Insulate Britain now, and the BBC has decided to step in and resolve the dispute between the public and the activists once and for all.
Monday, 8th of November, 2021. From TNN, this is The Weekly with Jeremy Barr. From Edinburgh, which is the wrong city.
Okay, thank you voiceover, I didn't need to rub it in. It's starting to feel uncomfortably warm here, and I'm struggling to find somewhere cooler to inhabit. And it's not just me, 97% of scientists believe so too, while the remaining 3% have yet to see the systemic error in the studies they've carried out. But what is weather? And is there something malevolent going on beyond the climate crisis? Our resident theoretical analyst, Rufus Globetrott, is here to explain it all for you.
Hello, truthers. This is Rufus once again, reminding you of the facts, the true facts that they don't want you to know. Now, all of these politicians and leaders around the world, they've gone to the city of Glasgow for this COP26 summit. The media have not shut up about these past months. They're going to try and come up with ways to challenge the biggest lie ever told on this earth. Climate change. There ain't no climate change. Sure as hell, weather is a lie too. Yes, I said it, I'm not crazy. The rain, for example, is used as a universal shower to keep smelly people washed when they forget to bathe. There ain't no more good that the rain provides us. And why tornadoes are fake too. Why all these scenes of destruction are all stock footage used for movies. The only twister that's real is the board game. And snow is nothing more than a false marketing ploy to capitalize on the birth of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I am tired of these lies, truthers. I'm tired that they continue to spin these false stories of meteorology. That was only supposed to be a Meat Feast pizza name. We can't let them get away with this any longer. So what are they really doing? A COP26, aside from laughing in our faces. If you're a truther, a true truther, then I implore you to join my campaign to say to these warmongers, no! You will not take my beautiful red, white, blue flag! You will not take my guns! You'll perish if you try! Thank you all, truthers. I'm Rufus. Join me in the fight!
Thank you, Rufus. At this point, let's go to Kristen Allen outside TNN House because there has been a significant development at the Climate Change Conference in Glasgow. Kristen, what's happened?
Yes, the news just reaching the TNN newsroom in the last minute or two is that the Prime Minister of Iceland, Katrin, what's her name, has gone missing. She was last seen in the blue zone around half an hour ago, but has failed to turn up to a scheduled meeting, where we'll have more as we get it.
Thanks very much for that. Moving on now to a global competition hosted by fossil fuel giants BP and Shell to find the most innovative amateur green project. $1 million was at stake, but did anyone claim the prize? No, and that's not the worst of the news coming out of the contest either. A bid to switch the island of Innerholm in the Orkney Islands to entirely renewable energy failed dramatically earlier in October when the island's only inhabitant switched from the national grid to his own installation. Except instead of installing wind turbines, which would be great given the amount of wind the area receives every year, he installed solar panels instead. The island remains blacked out while efforts to reconnect the island are ongoing. Fixing the blunder will cost an estimated £65,000, leaving the man bankrupt. A 10-year-old boy is spending a second night in hospital tonight after his decarbonised go-kart engine misfired and exploded during a test run yesterday. The kart was kitted out with a new state-of-the-art energy source, compressed cow farts. The explosion caused the boy third-degree burns, which will need extensive treatment. The boy's father told local media in Kent this morning that he didn't believe that methane was so explosive. Meanwhile, disaster has struck in Dumfries after flash flooding late last month. A glass ark designed to float on water during flooding incidents shattered after colliding with a house shortly after flotation on October the 30th. 16 people were treated at Nithbank Hospital with glass-related injuries, while the 2 men who had built and piloted the ship were impaled by shards of glass and died before emergency services could reach them. BP and Shell have been approached by TNN to explain the incidents, but they have not made themselves available for comment. We have another update now from Kristen Allen, and we understand a second leader has disappeared.
I'm afraid so, Jeremy. We've now got reports that Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is also missing. He's actually reported to have been kidnapped by what looked like 2 security guards. Eyewitness accounts are telling TNN that he was lifted off his feet and escorted to an unknown location.
Kristen, is there any connection between the 2 missing cases?
Yes, it certainly looks like these 2 leaders are together, headed by some perpetrator intent on disrupting the conference.
Thank you, Kristen, and we'll come back to that story again shortly. Tom and Jerry are 2 of the world's most well-known animated characters, and their cat and mouse game has inspired the world. And now their talents may be put to good use. Their remarkable ability to keep on going, even when it seems like they should be tired out, has led to rumours that the pair could be used to solve the world's energy crisis. A device, referred to aptly as the TJ Dynamo, intends to use their non-stop motion to generate electricity free of charge, and perhaps even sell it to national grids around the world. Its inventor, Jite Fakout, explains how the device works.
Imagine, if you will, a machine about room size, maybe a small bedroom. Inside the machine is a circular track that circles around a column in the centre where we store the generators. So, at one end of the track we have Tom, and on the other we have Jerry. Now, they're hooked up to the machine via, wires and gizmos and things like that. And as they chase each other around this circuit, their power is enough to create a current in the generators in the centre. So much of a current, in fact, that we're having record amounts of energy being produced. Why, we could power whole countries or maybe even a space race with this sort of thing. The possibilities boggle the mind. I might even, if I do say so myself, I might get a Nobel Prize for the whole deal. Oh, one can only hope, eh?
A third world leader has gone missing in Glasgow, and I'm afraid to say it is the President of the United States, Joe Biden, who cannot currently be found.
The President? Surely not.
The Secret Service are remaining tight-lipped, unwilling to confirm to reporters on the ground of his whereabouts, but the Associated Press are reporting he was taken during a bathroom break. Intelligence suggests he may be one of what are now 3 kidnapped world leaders held together in an unknown location.
They will be looking for him though, won't they?
Absolutely, and the entire blue zone of the conference area has now been locked down. Nobody is being allowed in or out of the SEC at the moment.
And what about the atmosphere inside?
It's chaos and confusion. Discussions have been suspended, and according to our journalists inside the campus, the chances of achieving significant agreements in the fight against irreversible ecological damage are now starting to slip.
Hold that thought, we'll come back to this very shortly. Thank you, Kristen. In the meantime, we wanted to share this one with you. The BBC's motoring magazine Top Gear will welcome protesters from Insulate Britain onto its programme later this month. The group will take part in 2 different segments. One, where there'll be crash test dummies and a piece testing the safety of new build cars, and another where, dressed up as Skittles, their focus will be tested as they attempt to avoid speeding ambulances. Earlier, I spoke to Top Gear's production assistant about the plans.
Thanks for joining us today. These planned stunts with Insulate Britain do seem a little bit harsh. How do you justify it?
Hi there. Yes, the output from the output it might look that way, but the BBC was designed to reflect the views of the British public. There's a lot of outrage and anger right now towards the group, and we need to be mindful of that when planning our output.
Sure, but it does seem a little ironic that the group are facing trials against gas-guzzling vehicles, given their intentions.
No more ironic than the fact that they were stopping traffic, causing delays, and more pollution being produced.
Okay, let's park that for a moment. Is it not, though, a little tone-deaf to be exploiting activists and using up precious energy in them, especially in the middle of the most important climate change conference the world has yet seen, which is, in turn, in the heart of the greatest climate crisis anyone has seen? Why should Insulate Britain accept your invitation in the first place?
Certainly not. Look, we're doing this at the behest of the British public. Insulate Britain were more than happy to work with Top Gear, and they'll push us in our broadcast to advertise and review green electric vehicles. It will be lively.
And that's before you throw ambulances at them?
Yeah.
And will you actually move towards greener electric vehicles?
Of course not. We don't have the budget. We're the BBC, not Netflix.
Thank you very much.
Straight back to Kristen now for the latest.
Thank you, Jeremy. We've had word that Prime Minister Boris Johnson is responsible for the kidnapping of 3 world leaders at the Climate Change Summit in Glasgow. He hasn't revealed his location or who is hiding him and his hostages from the authorities, but he has released a statement. Read him. You bumbling fools can't give Britain a break, so unless you relieve me of the UK's foreign and global obligations, I'm keeping my hostages for myself. He went on babbling away at how slighted he felt, that everyone hated him after Brexit, but it was boring and repetitive.
So he's effectively holding COP hostage until he gets what he wants? I mean, there is no chance of a deal at all without American support.
Sadly, that's right. He also warned that the UK as we know it faces collapse without international intervention. He described the government here as being at breaking point over the treatment he perceives as being received from the EU and indeed the US and China.
So that's it then. The world will now undergo a climate apocalypse, killing most of humanity.
No!
Yeah.